dispatch desk in Nagano that particular winter. The regular night dispatcher had gone to Matsumoto because his father was in hospital, and I had agreed to take 4 of his night shifts. I spent most of that shift correcting the same spelling mistake on 3 luggage tags, while wet snow slid from the terminal roof outside. The office was on the 2nd floor of the old terminal, above the shuttered ticket counters. At that hour, the building had only the heating pipes, the vending machines downstairs, and the radio set on my desk. The radio always gave off a smell of hot dust after midnight. It was not unpleasant. It reminded me of classrooms in winter, when the heaters had been switched on after a long break. There were 6 buses still moving on the district map. 5 were coming down toward Nagano City. The last one, the Mountain Run, was climbing its final section toward a depot beyond Togakushi. If it came in late, the drivers going home waited. If it came in badly late, someone had to arrange a car over the pass. Snow had fallen earlier, then stopped. The roads were clear where the plows had been, black and wet under the lamps. I wrote the weather note into the system, put water into the kettle, and listened to the drivers call their checkpoints in the calm voices people use when they have done the same thing for too many years. At 1:17, the mountain bus called from a stop called Kurohime West. The driver said, "Dispatch, this is 47A, holding 1 more minute." I looked at the map. The vehicle dot was where it should have been, a little square of blue, beside a road that crossed a black area of forest. I checked the booking list. No passenger had reserved Kurohime West. There were no drop-offs there either. It was the kind of stop that remained on the route, because someone in an office, years ago, had decided it ought to. "1 more minute is fine," I said. He thanked me. His voice was older than I expected, low and careful, with the tired politeness of a man trying not to wake someone in the next room. I did not ask why. Drivers held for people sometimes. A late train, a broken scooter, a person walking down from a farmhouse with a suitcase. The rule was to make a note if it became more than 3 minutes. 1 minute did not belong to anyone. The kettle clicked off. I made tea and watched the blue square stay still. It moved again at 1:18. I entered a 1-minute delay and went back to the luggage tags. It was the route number that stayed with me. The current mountain service was 62. I knew that because I had typed it into the weather message a few minutes earlier. I thought perhaps the driver had said it by habit. Some of the older drivers still used old stop names. One called a roadside lay by the milk corner, though the dairy had gone before I was born. The radio traffic continued. A driver at the university gate asked whether the road crew had salted the south curve. I answered, logged, drank tea that had already gone bitter. After a while, the wrong route number seemed no more important than the printer's mistake. At 2:06, I heard the mountain driver again. "Dispatch, 47A, holding 1 more minute at Kurohime West. Dispatch, dispatch, dispatch." This time, I did not answer immediately. The dot had returned to the same place. I checked the screen twice. It was the same vehicle identifier as the 62. The route display beside it said 62. The driver was saying 47A. "There are no bookings there," I said. "I know," he said. "I only need 1 more minute." His tone was not impatient. It was almost apologetic. I told him to hold. I made another note. Then I opened the route history window, more to settle myself than because I thought it would tell me anything useful. The number 47A did not appear in the active list. It appeared in a gray section below it. Retired routes. The entry was short. Mountain service. Discontinued in 2008. Replaced by 62 after winter timetable revision. I started at the company in 2016. There was nothing in that. Drivers remember old numbers. Still, I replayed the first call through my headset. My own voice came first, younger only because I had been less tired an hour before. Then the other voice. Dispatch, this is 47. A. Holding 1 more minute. The timestamp was current. The recording was not damaged. There was a quiet hiss behind his words, and a sound like the door chime from an older kind of bus. 2 notes instead of 1. I listened again. On the third pass, I noticed that he did not say he was waiting for a passenger. He said only that he was holding. I left the headset on the desk and went to the storage cabinet at the back of the office. It held old root binders, emergency lamps, a box of spare fuses, and records that no one had moved because no one had been told to move them. The cabinet door stuck before it opened. Dust lay along the lower shelves in a smooth gray line. I found the 47A binder between a discontinued school service and old fuel receipts. Most of it was boring, in the useful way records are boring. Timetables, road closures, a notice about a landslide, a WS, A by WS. Then, near the back, there was a stapled report from February 2008. The final 47A had left the terminal during a storm. The road was open, then closed after a slide near the upper pass. The bus had not reached its depot. A search found it at the lower bend before morning, empty and angled against the snowbank, with the engine cold. The driver had not been found on the road or in the trees. The report did not say more than that. Behind it was the radio transcript. The handwriting was copied from tape, uneven and blue at the edges. At 1:17, it recorded a call from Kurohime West. The driver identified himself as 47A. The dispatcher wrote, "Holds 1 more minute." At 2:06, there was another entry from the same stop. Same words, same minute. Now, I read them until the letters began to feel like shapes rather than words. The current bus called at 2:31. "Dispatch," the driver said. "I'm at Kurohime West." I had not realized he had been traveling back toward it. The map showed the blue square at the stop again. The blue square was very small. The forest around it took up most of the screen. "What is the problem?" I asked. There was a pause, not a silence. I could hear his engine and the soft rattle of something in the front of the bus. "You told me to wait," he said. I looked at the open log. There was no instruction from me, only his 2 requests and my 2 permissions. "I told you that a minute ago. You said there was someone walking down." My mouth went dry. I asked him to repeat it. He did. The words were ordinary. That made them worse. He said I had told him to keep the doors closed, but leave the bus there for 1 more minute. I called the night supervisor. He answered on the 4th ring, already annoyed, then became quiet while I read the old transcript to him. He asked whether I had checked the driver's company phone. I called it next. The driver answered with a different voice from the one on the radio. Younger. He said he was fine. He said he had stopped for his brakes because the road had felt slick. He said he had not spoken to anyone outside the bus. When I asked why he was waiting, he said, "'Cause dispatch asked me to." I did not, I said. He did not argue. He only said, "Then someone with your voice did." The roadside camera at Kurohime West sent 1 still image every 30 seconds. I opened the feed. The bus sat under the single stop lamp, its interior lights pale behind the windows. Beyond the lamp was the road, a rail, and the dark slope falling away. The doors were closed. I could not see the driver clearly. There was no one at the stop. The next image showed the bus in the same position. The next showed it 1 bus length farther forward, though the stop lamp had not changed behind it. I refreshed the page. timestamp advanced normally. At 2:34, the radio clicked. Dispatch, 47A, 1 more minute. I did not answer. I sat with the microphone in my hand and watched the seconds on the wall clock change. The hot dust smell came from the desk radio, stronger than before. The supervisor was still on the phone. He said my name once, then again. When the minute ended, the blue square began moving south. The driver reached the depot at 3:12, 28 minutes late. I went down to meet him because I did not want to hear another recording before I saw a person. He was standing beside the bus with his gloves tucked into his coat pocket. He looked embarrassed more than anything else. He said the whole delay had felt foolish. He had kept expecting someone to come from the path beyond the stop, though he had never seen a path there. He said the bus had become warmer while he waited. He had turned the heater down twice. When he checked the rear camera, he saw only the empty aisle and the reflection of the route display in the glass. The fare machine showed one additional boarding after the last registered passenger. No ticket number attached to it, no payment. The rear camera archive had a gap of 4 minutes where it should have shown the doors. The driver said he did not remember opening them. Before I left, I put the 47A binder back in the cabinet. The old final log was still open to the last page. Beneath the words held 1 minute, there was a blank ruled line. I was certain it had been blank when I first found it. The office was colder by then. I switched off the desk radio and pulled its plug from the wall. On the shelf behind me, the archival radio from the old cabinet had no power cord attached at all. Its little green light came on